So the bolt that is supposed to mount this relay switch thing is bigger than the hole in that mounting tab. And I have two of these square plugs. How am I going to figure out which one to plug this harness into? Okay, if I didn't say this already, you should watch all these videos before you do what I do. And this is why. I thought I had this figured out, but I didn't. The throttle position sensor. Oh my gosh. Well, this is a little disappointing news. It's not the end of the world, but I was able to wrestle the sensor down there for the trigger wheel, but it is too close to the wheel, so I can't mount the pulley onto the crank. So I guess I have to take it back out and bend it. I'll see if I can bend it in place there first, but I think that's for another day. It's after 9 o'clock, and I think I'm done. A couple notes. I took out a bolt from here for the air conditioning adjustment thing. This is part of that. This is the bolt actually I took out, the big bolt there, and this is adjusts it in and out, up and down. And because this whole thing has to rotate a little bit to get to the outer nut that's down there. You can't really see it from above here. But at any rate, there's one that's easy to get to, closer to the crank, and the other one is a little bit behind this bracket. So you loosen it and swing it out of the way, and you can get to it. Good night. Welcome back to Scoper's Garage. Not a very happy evening here. So I had to remove entirely the trigger because I could not get the wheel, the trigger wheel past it. And well, no, I don't remember why, but I removed the whole AC compressor as well. The trigger bracket doesn't work for it. The harness doesn't work for air conditioning. So I'm going to have to wait a few months to get those correct pieces. So I figured I would just get rid of the compressor, give me space, get it running with the right trigger wheel and everything. But my what I thought was a good idea turned out not to be a very good idea, and that was to use the hex nuts on here. There's just not quite enough room when you get the bolt all the way in there. So I had it all mounted, all 6 bolts in there, yada yada yada, and I couldn't get them tight. So I could either grind down a socket, or I could use the original style proper Allen bolts, which I don't like, but considering the space limitation, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I don't know if it was rubbing on the center nut or on this outer housing. If it's just this outer housing, it could be milled a little bit farther out, I would think, to give some more space. But anyway, so like 2 steps backwards to go, or 1 step backwards to go 2 steps forward in the future. So to give myself a little good feeling, I trimmed this hose. It's actually about 1 inch, so now it lays flat on the fender. And I did finally figure out how to mount the throttle bottle position sensor. So I'm pushing the throttle open and it's rotating inside and not on the outside. So that's so good. But when I push it all the way down, then it doesn't turn. So there are these little spacers that I put them in here now to see if that is the right place where it lifts them off just a little bit. I don't think that's right, but we're trying that for now until I hear from the designer. Okay, at long last, I think I finally have the throttle position sensor mounted correctly. So I had to buy 2 longer screws than what the original had, and these worked. M4 by 0.7 millimeter by 16 millimeters long. Because you have this extra spacer, the original ones don't work. And you need the spacers so that the shaft is not binding on the top of the housing for the sensor. And you got to put these in from the bottom side with the nut on the top, on the outside, obviously because you don't have clearance there, down in here. So it's all assembled, and when I push on the flap or turn it manually here, it bounces back. So it's really hard to show, isn't it? There we go. So I will now install it with the original bracket and hardware.